Nathan Davis here with the Community Lending Team. I'm here with my good friends and colleagues, Vito Mira and Deanna Rivera. We are here doing our very first Community Lending Team podcast. Pretty exciting, isn't it?
Terrifying.
Numeral 1. Welcome to the show.
Episode 1 of many. Well, at least we hope so. We'll see how today goes, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, the good news, they get to hear us, what normally happens behind the scenes here at Community Lending Team, and this time it's recorded. So we're going to make sure we say the right things at the right time. So here we go. Let's see how this goes.
Let's do it.
So we're here this morning to talk about the Hometown Heroes program. This is a fantastic program because it's a down payment assistance program that's going to help a lot of our hometown heroes be able to buy a home here in Florida. We know, one of the biggest obstacles is down payment and closing costs, being able to come up with enough money so people can actually buy a home in a rising purchase price environment. So this is really a good program for a lot of our heroes. So our goal this morning is we're going to highlight some of the key components of this program. We're going to talk a little bit about what makes this program different from other down payment assistance programs, because there have been down payment assistance programs for a long time, but this one really is extra special. Then we're going to talk a little bit about, what our listeners need to do from here, how they can take advantage of it personally, or maybe talk to it about, some of the eligible people in this program. So let's start with, what are some of the key highlights of the program? Well, number one, you have to be buying a primary residence. So no vacation homes, no investment properties under this program. But again, it is for primary residences. And we know a lot of people are out there renting right now looking to buy their first home. And that goes to the next point. You have to be a first-time home buyer. But Deanna, what really makes a first-time home buyer in our world?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people get confused with that. They think I have to be a first-time home buyer means I could never have owned a home. But the truth is, as long as they haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, they're good to go with this program.
Yeah, so you could have been renting for 3 or 4 years. Maybe you owned a home in the past. You decided to rent for a while. Maybe you moved. A lot of people come here from other places and they don't want to buy initially. So you've been renting for a while. Now you decide, hey, I want to buy a home. As long as you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, we classify you as a first-time home buyer. So you become eligible. Now, what makes this program really unique is, again, it's for people in certain occupations. It's called the Hometown Heroes Down Payment Assistance Program. Now, we think a lot about, police officers, firefighters, veterans, nurses, teachers. We know those occupations are kind of usually fall into that bucket. But Vito, there's some really kind of different occupations that are eligible for this program. You want to tell us a few of those?
Nathan, the list is pretty long. I think it's over 50 occupations. In fact, it's pretty hard to find one that's not on here. A dental hygienist, a nurse midwife, occupational therapist or assistant, certified respiratory therapist. Like I said, you're most likely going to find somebody on this list. I could almost guarantee it.
Sure.
I think the numbers say there's over 3 million people in the state of Florida that will qualify for this program.
Yeah, so if you're in the protection, education, or healthcare industry, you likely are on this list. And if any of your friends or family work in those fields, let them know. Because again, there's a lot of wonderful opportunity with this program because, again, it's a down payment assistance program. And down payment assistance means you get some money here to be able to help you buy a home. So, Deanna, how much money can somebody get with this down payment assistance?
So they can get up to 5% of the loan amount, up to $25,000. So that's a big deal for a lot of these first-time home buyers in the area.
It's a good chunk of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we know that, right now, again, one of the biggest obstacles to buying is not necessarily whether they can afford the home or not. It's, I don't have the money.
Right.
I don't have the money for down payment, closing costs, and that can keep them on the sideline. So again, up to $25,000, 5% of the loan amount, a good chunk of money. Now, this down payment assistance, the nice thing too is, does it have to be, do you have regular payments, Vito, or is this something that's a little different?
So on the down payment assistance side, you have no payments or no interest on that money. So let's say you're buying your $500,000 home and you're receiving your loan amount's going to be $500,000. Let's say you're receiving $25,000. You have no payments or no interest until you do anything but occupy that home as your primary residence, right? Deanna, if you want to take money out of your home to put a pool in, do you have to pay back?
Yes.
Yes. If you decide to move to the lake house, right? Do you have to pay and make this a rental property?
Am I getting a lake house out of this?
Well, you could, but the fact is if you do anything but occupy this residence as your primary residence, you're responsible for paying the money back.
So as long as you stay in the house as your primary residence, you could live in it for 30 years, and that down payment assistance, let's call it $25,000.
Yep.
You're not making a monthly payment on it. It's not accruing interest. It's just at the end of the term, let's say you sell the house, then you pay that money back at that time, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, what a deal.
Yeah.
So you still have your normal payments on your first mortgage, but you don't have to pay back that second
Second
mortgage, 0% interest down payment assistance. What a cool program.
Absolutely.
So when we think about it, right now the median price is about $400,000. I mean, it's up quite a bit from where it's been the last couple of years. So when we kind of ran some numbers on this, I mean, it would take about $20,000 for somebody to be able to have the necessary down payment, be able to have the necessary closing costs. I mean, $20,000 is a lot of money.
Substantial.
I mean, most people don't have that just sitting around in their checking or savings account. So when you take a look at the program, the Hometown Heroes Down Payment Assistance Program, let's say you're a veterinarian and you qualify for this particular program, you're going to be able to get a little over $19,000 for your down payment assistance. So you needed $20,000. 19,000 of it's going to come from the down payment assistance. So now you only need $1,000 to be able to close on a $400,000 home. Pretty cool, right?
Absolutely. Now, this is plus your closing costs and your first year of insurance and stuff, right? Or does that include?
I actually,
That's
when I ran
everything.
the numbers, Vito, that $20,000 I was saying included all of that. Your prepaids, the whole kit and caboodle. Now, of course, every home is going to have a little bit different taxes, insurance, things like that. But I mean, the point that we're trying to make is that this down payment assistance allows someone who's in these eligible occupations to be able to buy a reasonably priced house with very little money out of pocket. So it's a really good program. One of the other things is credit score. Probably people listen and go, I have to have a perfect credit score. But Deanna, I mean, what are the credit score requirements?
They can be down to a 640 credit score, which I mean, most people, if they're not there, there's something that we can do relatively quickly to get them there. So I think it opens up for even some of people with the lower credit scores to be able to participate in this program.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, if you're somewhere around the 620, 610 level, it doesn't take that much to be able to get your credit score up to where it would need to be. So you certainly don't want to sit back if you're listening to this, say, well, I'd like to qualify for this program, but I know that my credit score isn't perfect. Don't hesitate to apply, because usually within a short period of time, we can get you up to that necessary credit score. Now, we mentioned early on that, down payment assistance programs have been around for a while. It's nothing new, but what really I think has excited all of us about this program is there are some real differences on this program than some of the others. So let's just talk about that. Income limitations. I mean, one of the issues in the past, Vito, has been your income had to be so low
that you wouldn't qualify to buy a home.
Exactly.
Right? The box was so small. So in Lee County, right? Lee County, Florida, you can make up to $120,600 and still qualify for this program.
And two, what's different about this program, some others, is they would take household income and they would lump it in, where here we only care about the person that's on the application. So we know if, let's say, again, we had maybe somebody who's in the childcare industry, if they're qualifying on their income alone and their spouse is, say, a doctor making $500,000 a year, and we don't need them on the loan,
Still works.
they can still get the down payment assistance.
They still qualify. We're only qualifying the income of the applicant.
Yeah. So in the past, some of those programs that offered this, they did the household income, and goodness, unfortunately, you could actually make too much income to be able to qualify.
If grandma was staying with them, we would have to use their fixed income to disqualify them from the program. So in this case, it's much easier to qualify.
And in debt to income ratios, I know that's kind of probably a word that a lot of people out there don't fully understand, but basically it's your qualifying ratios, how much debt you have compared to your income. Down payment assistance programs in the past were really conservative. So again, as Vito pointed out, we had lower income limits and lower debt to income ratios. So the bucket of people that qualified just got smaller and smaller, right?
Yeah.
So Deanna, I mean, what's nice about the debt to income ratio requirements for this program?
This program actually expands them so they can go up to 50%. Now, that doesn't apply to every applicant. They do have to have a 680 credit score or better to get to that 50%. But again, it's still open to, I think it goes up to 45 for somebody with a 640 credit score. So it's still very generous in what they're offering is.
Yeah, it helps a lot of people qualify, because they may have, other obligations, obviously car loans, credit cards, things like that. But again, with a 50% debt to income ratio, we know from a lot of our clients, that's going to help a large percentage be able to qualify for this program. So again, one of the benefits of the Hometown Heroes Down Payment Assistance Program versus other ones we've originated in the past. We also know there's less origination fees than some that we've done in the past. So that was one of the things that we always would laugh at when we look at these programs. Oh, you get X amount of down payment assistance, but then they would charge all these fees, and how much would you have left?
So a lot of times in the past, I would see is like, hey, you're getting this grant for $4,000, but they're charging you $2,500 to get it. You're netting out $1,500. It's a horrible decision for your family. Not in this case.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you'd usually pay higher interest rates than what we can normally do for somebody who is getting a regular conventional FHA or VA loan. But in this case, the rates are really comparable to everything else that we're originating with, even 20% down payment. So again, one of the advantages of this program, the interest rates, that's not the catch. Like, oh, I get all this stuff, but what, my rate's going to be like 10%? Nope. No, rates are going to be, whatever the standard is in the market. And we know that, rates have been rising. But again, if you can get the same rate that somebody else is getting with 20% down and you're getting down payment assistance, win-win right there.
It's an amazing place to live, the state of Florida.
We also found that one of the differences is a little bit less paperwork. Deanna, you were mentioning earlier, what's one of the things that sometimes we had to provide in these down payment assistance programs that makes this one a little bit different?
Yeah, so in the past, we had to supply 3 years personal tax returns to prove that they didn't own that they were a first-time home buyer. In this case, we don't need those tax returns, and that's also a help cut down the paperwork and make things move quicker.
You'd have to go into the storage space and try and find where's my 2019 tax return, my 2018 tax return, or so it makes the paperwork a little bit less than some of the programs in the past. So far we've talked about so many good things that this program offers. We talked about the occupations that are eligible, and obviously we couldn't go through the whole list. Otherwise, this would be a 2-hour show.
Absolutely.
Again, you're going to want to call us if you are uncertain if maybe you qualify in your occupation or not. So what should our listeners do? Well, we're going to have a variety of listeners. We're going to have some realtors that are going to be listening. We're going to have those that are in these eligible occupations or have friends or family that are in these eligible occupations. So let's start with our realtors. Deanna, I know you're the marketing guru here at Community Lending Team. What would you encourage our realtors out there to maybe do?
Well, first I'm going to say I'm the marketing guru and not the podcast guru. So forgive me for looking like I've seen a ghost. But no, so I think the first thing I'd be doing is definitely taking some of the material that we can offer to you and maybe blasting it out to your databases. Maybe you want to come in and do some podcasting with us and blast out to your databases. I think get the word out, because it definitely opens up a whole new realm of buyers for you, where we've seen in the past year, 24 months, with the prices going up, people didn't have the money for the down payment and the closing costs. So any of these folks, they're going to be able back in the market and back in the game. So the first stop is call one of us and get with us on what we can give you to help you market it. If you need any ideas, for sure, call me. I'll be happy to help with collateral material, flyers, animated videos, whatever you need. But get the message out because we can help a lot of people with this program.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine a lot of the realtors out there, if you kind of do the friends and family circle, know somebody who's maybe, a manager or in an HR department of, whether it's a doctor's office, a hospital, again, a vet office. I mean, if you really put on your thinking cap, you can know a lot of people who are kind of, the ones that are in charge that they can then kind of share this information with their team, their office, or in a bigger setting, we can certainly do some presentations too. So, realtors definitely get it out there in the social media. I think, obviously our heroes are going to benefit, but, you're going to benefit too. We're going to be selling more houses this way.
Absolutely.
Now, Vito, how about those who are maybe, sitting in a fire department or in an office setting in these types of fields of occupation? What should they do?
I think the first thing you should do is reach out to one of the loan originators here at Community Lending, right? You can go directly to our website at communitylendingfl.com. Choose Find a Loan Officer and call any one of them on the list and just talk to them about the program and how that could benefit your family.
Yeah, I think even if you don't think you're ready to buy today, you should take the time to investigate, do I qualify? Yes or no? If I don't qualify, why not? Is it something that maybe can change? Right. Can we assist you in that area? And then, of course, if you're listening to this and you're saying, I know, my brother is in a certain field of work and they work in Tampa, or they work in Jacksonville, they work in Pensacola. Deanna, does this work for everybody in Florida?
Entire state of Florida. And even better, we have loan officers throughout the state that can help. So if they need a local loan officer in several of the markets here, we have people that can help.
Well, I tell you what, this is our very first podcast, episode number 1. I think we did a pretty decent job at covering our Hometown Heroes down payment assistance program. Certainly look us up, Community Lending Team. You'll be able to find us on a website here at the office, 239-333-4684, if I remember correctly.
You're right.
That's amazing.
How about that? Huh?
Yeah.
For mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my marketing brain. MTG, for MTG.
Well, I learned something new today. How about
Yeah.
that? Well, friends, look forward to episode number 2 sometime in the future. Thank you, Vito. Thank you, Deanna. It's been fun talking with you guys this morning.